The pleasure principle. The view that human beings are governed by the desire for gratification or pleasure, and for the discharge of tension that builds up as pain or unpleasure when gratification is lacking. You know how it's just one of those things where you find yourself suddenly on a site, and you're either on your phone, your laptop, your desktop, whatever it might be, and you click on something because you think it's interesting, and it takes you somewhere that is maybe interesting or not interesting. But today it happened to me where I clicked on something and it took me to the American Psychological Association's dictionary site, where you can type in phrases, and somehow I got to the pleasure principle. And I thought it was super interesting what it had to say, because it eventually brought me someplace that probably was telling me I needed a check on it. So anyway, here, you see for yourself. The pleasure principle is the psychic force that motivates people to seek immediate gratification of instinctual or I have a problem saying this one, libidinal impulses, such as sex, hunger, thirst, and ta-da, elimination. That's right, elimination. So elimination, the pleasure light goes on for elimination, as it does for sex, as it does for eating, as it does for drinking something when you're really thirsty. That's kind of interesting. That's why I guess we all everyone likes, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it, the sensation of taking a good dump. I mean, you just do. So now we know why. Okay, but do we really know why? Because it goes on to say, it dominates the id and operates most strongly during childhood. So, nix say that one. Now we don't really get it, because what I'm about to tell you, I don't think it's got anything to do with hunger, sex, thirst, or elimination. Later, in adulthood, it is opposed by the reality principle of the ego. The ego. You ready? Here's what the American Psychological Association's dictionary says. Reality principle, in bold letters. In classical psychoanalytical theory, the regulatory mechanism that represents the demands of the external world and requires the individual to forego or modify instinctual gratification, or to postpone it to a more appropriate time. Okay, now I'm clicking on ego because it gives you these references. And here we go. Let's talk a little bit about ego. The noun, the self, particularly the conscious sense of self. In its popular and quasi-technical sense, ego refers to all the psychological phenomena and the processes that are related to the self and that compromise the individual's attitudes, values, and concerns. Number 2, and I might go past 5 minutes. In psychoanalytical theory, the component of the personality that deals with the external world and its practical demands. More specifically, the ego enables the individual to perceive reason, solve problems, test reality, and adjust the instinctual impulses of the id to the demands of the superego. You know, it's pretty interesting because sometimes we blame the ego for a lot of things it shouldn't be blamed for. And, think about it. It gives you the ability to have reason. I don't know. go to American Psychological Association's website and you can look at their dictionary, and maybe it can be helpful to you in your daily life in understanding more. So Wendy Cooper signing off for today, and I'll be back tomorrow. Visit me at my website, wendycooper.com, or send me an email at wendycooper@mac.com. Thanks for sharing. Stay healthy.